Good evening. My name is Tammy Janzen, and this evening we're going to use QuickBooks Accountant. We're going to go through Chapter 6, Case 3 for a problem. We're going to create a company, Aloha Properties. So as you can see with the screen here, I've actually already created Aloha Properties, but I will walk you through the steps. The first thing I did for creating a new company was File, New Company. And we will wait for that to open here. And what I selected here is it's QuickBooks Setup, and I went into Detailed Start. And as you can see, you can enter your company information here, the name, address, tax ID number, phone, and if you would select Next, it will take you through the screen to enter that information. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out of here, and I'm not going to save it. So if I go back into Aloha Properties, I'm going to open, like I said, I already created the company as I've worked through the case problem. And I have a password on mine. So I enter that and say OK. And actually, as I went through that detailed setup with the company, once QuickBooks loads here, then I can show you where my information is. And I just escape out of these so we don't have to. So I go into Company, and you can see My Company. And this is where I put the Aloha Properties, name, address, phone number, ID number. It's a corporation. If there's something we want to change there, okay? So we have that set up. And then it talks about sales tax. So the item that I set up is to go to your list, item list. And you can see here I created Hawaii sales tax, description sales tax, and that was at 4%. So I was, okay. And at the same time on the screen, they talked about loading 8 different service units. And basically the service item, it gave us the name, the description, type, we put it to rental income, and then of course the price. So you can see any items that I've created between sales tax and the service units, you can see them all on one screen. So we'll escape out of there. The next thing I created was it asked us to create 5 different customers. And when I click on customers up here, you can see that I've created Apple Computer, Boeing, Bryce Montoya, General Motors, and Sarah Rice with their beginning balances. If I double click on, say, Apple Computer, you can see what I've created here. And the current balance is $25,000. It asks us that when we do that originally. So I can just say OK to get out of there. So I have my 5 customers. Then it asks us to create 2 vendors. So I went into vendors. And you can see I created Blue Sky Pools at a beginning balance of $1,800 and Riley Custodio for $4,500. Then the other vendors is the United States Treasury, the State of Hawaii Department of Taxation, and the Hawaii State Tax Collector was actually already there. And so actually these are there for taxes and the 2 vendors they ask us to create. Okay, I'm going to escape out of there. And then the next thing was it wanted us to set up new employees. And there was 2 employees, Fran and Danielle. And as you can see, I already have those in there. If I double click on Danielle, okay, we'll wait for it to open. I have her name, social security number. She's a female. You can put, we don't have an address for her, so I did not put that in there. No other additional info. Her payroll info. She is paid frequent. Her pay is monthly, and she's an hourly employee. And if she would work double time, it would be 40. Overtime, which is time and a half, is 30. And I set up the taxes, which include Medicare, Social Security, federal unemployment. And she is a single person. The state taxes are set up for Hawaii and state unemployment and SDI. We have the state of Hawaii. She is single. And if we go into other, for Hawaii, they have ENT assessment. And so you can see that on this screen. And we say OK. And we can say OK there. So we're done looking at Danielle. This is Fran. And I have her name, social security number, female, don't have the address, don't need the additional info. Her payroll info is she is paid monthly, salary at $75,000. I have her taxes set up. She is married, Medicare, Social Security, federal unemployment. We go to state of Hawaii, state unemployment, SDI, Hawaii. She is married. And of course, we have the Medicare employee additional tax. And we say okay there. Yes, and if we look at this here, actually I must have unchecked that box, so we want to go ahead and say yes for Fran. And I've added the following tax because as you've seen with Danielle, she had Hawaii was E&T, and this should also be here. And when I was working on the problem, I do believe I unchecked that, so it should be there. So we say okay and okay. And the other thing we go back to is when we look at lists, at chart of accounts, and it asked us to set up a checking account, which I did, and had as a beginning balance of $15,000 as of 12/31/13. Accounts receivable, we can see that was set up when we initially entered the balances with the customers. Accumulated depreciation, it told us was $1.2 million. We can see that. Buildings, if we look here, is $4.25 million. Furniture and equipment, fixed asset was $250,000. Land was $500,000. Accounts payable, when we entered the two vendors that we owed, those balances $4,500 and I believe $1,800 come to $6,300. Okay, and then the notes payable to the bank was $3.875 million. It asked us to do a journal entry to set up capital stock and move to close the opening balance equity account so that there's $10,000 in the capital stock. Opening balance equity is 0. Okay, and we can see the chart of accounts there. So I will go back, and we were to balance to the trial balance. So I'm going to go to my memorized reports under myself, my group, trial balance. And this is supposed to match the picture on page 145, chapter 6 for case problem 3. And it was of January 1 of 2014. And as you can see, the checking, accounts receivable, all the accounts are here and the correct balance, and it's in balance. All right, thank you very much.